And thank you all for joining us. Don't forget, tonight is our State of the Union party. We are very excited to host this. We're going to find out how many people show up at the House of Representatives. Currently, right now, 15 members of the Democratic Party say they're not going to be there. President going for about an hour and a half. Why not enjoy it with us at Dave & Buster's in Boise? The phone number there, 208-901-3800. Joining us now to talk a little bit about the trade war and the Chinese and everything else, Michael Stumo. Michael, good to have you back.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
So your thoughts on the State of the Union. Will the president talk about China at all, do you think?
I'm sure he will talk about China and the fact that despite everyone saying that he shouldn't engage in any kind of a response to China's trade war on the U.S., that we're winning and that he hopes to make a deal, but we don't have to make a deal.
Well, we take a look at China, and it seems as if since the Trump administration has come on, we're actually starting to punish them for their, continued stealing of trademarks, copyrights, and technology.
Sure. Well, there was a several hundred-page report documenting 35 different ways that the Chinese hacked, stole our technology, or used incoming investment, weaponized incoming investment by companies with critical technologies to use their geopolitical strategy. But this is about more than tech theft. This is about China wanting to erode our economic, military, and geopolitical strength. But we'll see if they make a deal. But he'll be talking about that. He'll be talking about the Reciprocal Trade Act. He'll be talking about near record low unemployment, the fact that manufacturing jobs are increasing more than they have in many years, and that wages are going up.
What is the state of the Chinese economy right now, and why is that important for us?
The Chinese economy is slowing. We don't know how much because you can't believe what figures come from the Chinese government, but it is slowing. And for agriculture, I think this recent purchase of soybeans by the Chinese was by necessity because they need them. But for the rest of it, they excessively rely on our consumers for growth, but we don't excessively rely on them. So we do have the upper hand.
Michael Stumo joining us here. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. So, Michael, what other big news should we be looking at and during this trade war? It certainly hasn't impacted the markets, or has it?
No, the markets are really being impacted by the Fed and the rates. You remember last year, the timeline when they imposed the steel and aluminum tariffs, the administration did in March, April, there was concern about stock market. And then the China tariffs were imposed in July and then in September. But the stock market kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And then near the end of the year, it didn't. It went down. Now it's coming back up a bit. That's all timed. That's all related to the Fed's moves and the interest rate rising last year. And now the Fed is saying they're not going to be raising interest rates. So the stock market really is a Fed and interest rate story. The U.S.-China trade skirmish, I would say, may cause a bit of day-to-day noise, but you and I know, and John Bogle, founder of Vanguard, knows you're in it for the long term. So the trade war is really noise vis-a-vis the stock market.
Michael Stumo joining us. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. So where do we go from here?
There's still ongoing talks. Your listeners may recall that the president had planned to increase tariffs on $200 billion of Chinese imports from 10% imposed last September to 25% in December. But Presidents Trump and Xi of China agreed in Argentina at the G20 in November to take a 90-day delay to see if they can come to an agreement. That ends in March, so we'll know this month if they come to any kind of agreement, temporary or otherwise, and whether the tariffs will go into effect from 10 to 25%. So that's what to look for now, and then whether the U.S., Mexico, Canada.
All right, we lost Michael Stumo there. We appreciate him. That's just tough when the phones just don't work. Thank you, Mr. Stumo, Coalition for Prosperous America. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Big night tonight, the State of the Union. Obviously, we're going to be pumped. We would love to see you there. And then you have a lot of folks that are just going to be worrywarts and party poopers and saying to themselves, well, we're not going to be there. We're not going to support the president. There's been rumors that perhaps people will turn their back on the president of the United States. Come on. They're going to turn their back on the president of the United States. They're going to boo the president of the United States. This is crazy stuff. And this is why we need to see you here tonight at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We would love to see you there. And we're going to have a big crowd. We're going to talk, and we're going to support the president. And by the way, I guess I need to contact our friends in the local media to let them know that there are people in Idaho, here in the Treasure Valley, that are proudly standing behind President Trump.
Previewing the speech on Fox News, Counselor to the President Kellyanne Conway says the president will urge lawmakers to pursue bipartisanship.
The president is calling for an end to sort of resistance and retribution politics and calling for cooperation and compromise. He really wants to unify the nation as its commander-in-chief and its president, the leader of the nation.
14 House Democrats boycotted the president's State of the Union address last year. Several Democratic lawmakers are also skipping tonight's speech. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
And thank you very much, John Decker. Let's get here to what you have to say. Let's go to David in Weiser with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, David.
Hi, Kevin. Boy, I guess I'm a day late and a dollar short, but I listen to you all the time. Is there anything more reprehensible than talking about a cockroach and naming a kid after it? I mean, this is just that's absolutely disgusting.
Right, but we are talking about it. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to insult cockroaches, but you could, name a cockroach after a Democrat, after a liberal.
Well, you got that right down to the note, but I'm just thinking, how about send $10 back to New York City and have some of that to one of them tenements and have them spray that place down?
Well, cockroaches, like libs, have feelings too.
Shit. Whoops, sorry. I apologize for that, but
David, it's okay.
I guess you're probably right, Kevin. But naming your kid after a cockroach that's just a disgusting. It just creeps me out to even hear you talk about something like that.
Sure. No, it was. For a loved one. So let's say you were looking for, something to give your sweetie that she would remember you forever. You could, this is a sign of my enduring, ending love. Here's a cockroach named after you. That would be good times, wouldn't it?
Oh, shoot. I still think it's disgusting. Go blow some stuff out of the tenements back in New York City.
How do you think the State of the Union will go tonight, David?
Well, I'm not sure. Donald Trump doesn't seem to have very much support from Republicans, definitely not from the Democrats, and I think that he just needs to mind his words.
Mind his words?
He needs to mind his words because anything that he says will disrupt anything that he wants to continue to have for our country.
Kind of like when you're in court, anything you say can and will be used against you.
Oh, I've been arrested before.
Really?
Oh, yeah. For driving without insurance.
Well, I'm glad you're in the right now, brother.
Yeah, I'm right. Anyway, Kevin, I had to say something about it, and I must have missed the show yesterday morning somehow or another. It was Monday, wasn't it?
It was Monday. No worries.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I listen to you all the time, and thanks, and don't talk about cockroaches anymore.
Duly noted, David. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. God bless our great friend David, who got a little sweary this morning, but that's okay. Let's get back to the State of the Union. Obviously, we are pumped for tonight at Dave & Buster's. Kellyanne Conway had this to say.
It is a challenge to all of us in this country when the president stands up and says, let's work together on X or Y or Z, as he will tomorrow. And I hope people will hear that call.
You know, the problem is they don't want to work together. They want to destroy this man, right, Chucky Schumer?
The state of our union is in need of drastic repair.
Well, I think you're in need of something.
The state of the Trump administration and how he runs the government, chaos.
You know, you ever go hang out with somebody and they're a Debbie Downer? You know, and I've been accused of this at work. In fact, I've had the soon-to-be big boss emeritus say to me, Kevin Miller, you're a droopy drawers kind of guy. Droopy drawers? No, you know, you're Eeyore. That's what Mrs. Miller says. You're Eeyore. Eeyore. You're always seeing something bad. Oh, there goes Eeyore Kevin Miller. Now, Chuck Schumer's that kind of guy, right? There's Chuck Schumer. It's a set. Hey, Chuck, how's it going? Chuck, you just got a new job. Well, it's okay, but quite frankly, I think I could do better.
It is sad, the state of the union.
You gotta go, man. Would anybody invite Chuck Schumer to their party? And here you have the President of the United States. The President of the United States simply saying, I want to work with these people. Because that's what the libs promised during the election, where the libs came in. And just like their nickname, the devious little libs, what did they do? The devious little libs pulled the bait and switch.
You'll hear the State of the Union, and then you'll see what happens right after the State of the Union.
There we have it. That could be the national emergency. And the president does have something. Maybe they'll force him to do it. We will have that for you at Dave & Buster's. We hope to see you there. It's going to be a good time. And the reason why it's so important to go there, Kevin Miller, Kevin Miller, you like just to go there and hang out. For years, I would sit there at home alone and talk back to my television. And I'm thinking to myself, is there anybody out there that shares my views? And then finally I said, well, why don't we have a State of the Union party? Why don't we have debate watch parties? And you know something? The only place in America where you're going to get this is right here at Dave & Buster's. So much more previewing the president.
Tonight, the president is expected to touch on illegal immigration, protecting our nation's borders, infrastructure, and drug prices, as well as revise trade deals with allies and foreign policy. 13 special guests will join President Trump and the First Lady tonight to represent, quote, the very best of America. They include 11-year-old Joshua Trump, who has been bullied in school because of his name. Judah Samet will also be there. He survived the mass shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, which left 11 people dead last year. The First Family also inviting Alice Johnson, a convicted drug trafficker who was granted clemency by the president.
There we have it. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I want to go back to this story about Joshua Trump. No relation to the president. He's in 6th grade. He's been bullied. And you won't believe what the two jabronis on CNN had to say about this little boy. It just shows you the mean-spiritedness that we're up against. By the way, you also have Chris Cuomo, the other mean guy on CNN with Don Lemon, wanting to ban people from wearing a MAGA hat. Much more going on. We're just getting started. We need to start the day. Kevin Miller, waking up on the right side, KIDO Talk Radio.
My concern, though, about tomorrow night is that he's going to be used as a political pawn. That of all the different kinds of bullying that goes on, they're highlighting somebody giving Trump a hard time.
Yeah. Well, the First Lady invited him, and I think it's a good thing that she invited him. I think you'll agree with that. And no, listen, my last name is Lemon, Chris. Come on. Do you think I got it in elementary school, junior high school, and then I just kind of made it work for me. I still get it now, you know. So I understand it, and no one likes to be bullied, and I say good on the First Lady for inviting him. But I also say the political pawn thing, you know, I don't know. I hope that they're not using it for political expediency.
No, I'm just worried about
Yes.
I'm worried about the kid because he's got enough trouble. You know, his family's letting
That's
him
where I
go
was
out
going.
there, hopefully to empower him, give him some confidence in himself. And now, if he becomes representative of the president, you don't
Yeah.
want to put that on anybody,
That's-
let alone this kid.
That's where I was going. If they really don't want to draw attention to his last name and keep him from being bullied, maybe it's not the best thing for him to go.
Yeah, maybe let's just let him continue to be bullied, right? The president and the first lady can't do anything right with these jabronis. And that's why it's important to support Sean Hannity, Kevin Miller, Lars Larson, Glenn Beck, because we speak the truth. And there are other people that go and say, you know, their thing, and that's great, and that's wonderful. I wish that everybody understood the difference between right and wrong. The idea that you allow some kid to be bullied, and the president of the United States, through his beautiful wife, says, we're not going to let that happen. We're going to ask this kid to come to the State of the Union. Who would be dumb enough to bully that kid afterwards? And then you have Chris Cuomo, who wants to ban you from wearing a MAGA hat. Don Lemon, when you know how to have lemons make lemonade, saying that they're worried about the political implications of it. Well, if that were the case, and what I've been taught by people, because I'm a kind of a, hey, just keep your head down kind of guy, is no, you want to bring attention to things. So they don't like it because the kid's bullied because it has something to do with the president. But that happens. How many times have we had people like Liberty Linda and others that have had their bumper stickers scraped off, that have had pro-Trump bumper stickers ripped off, or people saying, you need to get rid of that. That's the thought police. That's the hate. That's what we're up against. And really, what has Donald Trump done to any of these people except beat them at their own game? Traffic and weather together. Our time is 6:26. Kevin Miller in the morning.
Almost 7's are recovered.
And thank you very much, Larry. Kevin Miller here, taking your calls at 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Don't forget, coming up tonight, Dave & Buster's, 208-901-3800. We're going to be there having a great time. And I can't believe this. People would be deadpanning any Republican that turned their back on President Obama. They would be ridiculing anyone who turned their back during a President Clinton speech. And yet, here we have the folks just getting ready to disrespect the President of the United States. That is crazy. Speaking of crazy, you want to talk about losing control. Thank goodness that we have rational adults here in the state of Idaho. Governor Brad Little. Governor Little is a family man. Governor Little does not engage in any type of controversial statements. Governor Little is your typical public servant, keeps his head down and rolls on. Compared to what they have in the state of Virginia. So now you have the governor who said, yeah, I wore the blackface. And I moonwalk with the best of them, like Michael Jackson. He's being condemned. Now you have allegations against the lieutenant governor, an African-American who is a rising star in Democratic politics. There are allegations that he assaulted somebody sexually. Now, again, people are saying there's nothing to this. Well, there was nothing to what Brett Kavanaugh went through, and they still call him names, right? Let's take a listen from our own Kristen Fisher here on KIDO Talk Radio.
Fairfax says the allegations are completely false. He describes the encounter as consensual. His accuser told the Washington Post about it in 2017. The paper says it investigated her claim but never published because it couldn't be corroborated. Now the allegations are resurfacing just as Fairfax is poised to become Virginia's next governor if the current one resigns. And nearly every top Democrat, from Speaker Pelosi to Hillary Clinton to Joe Biden, they all say Governor Northam should step down.
Right. So now the lieutenant governor is turning on the governor saying, why is somebody leaking these stories against me? What does that have to do with us here in Idaho? Not much. But I'm thankful that we have a governor and a lieutenant governor that don't engage in those things, and we don't have to worry about them embarrassing us. Must be another reason why people are moving to Idaho. You're listening to 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller in the morning. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie.
Good morning, Kevin.
Thank you, Ray Abaya, for that one. Thank you, Ray Abaya, for that one. I wondered if we would keep that undercover today, but Yes, 51 years old. And we're celebrating it with you tonight at the State of the Union. Phone numbers 580-5436 at Dave & Buster's. I can't wait to see everybody. We're going to have a great time. Coming up, more of your phone calls. We'll hear from Liberal Steve, Security Guard Mike. And get this, I love this from the Daily Caller. Super Bowl ads lecture America on girl power, wind power, and objectifying mermaids. Wow. I maybe that's one of the reasons why the ratings were so low for the Super Bowl, right? I mean, who wants that? Joining us now, Rachel Sutherland, Fox News Radio, always on the case. So appreciate her joining us this morning. Good morning.
Hey, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And what a way to celebrate it, the State of the Union. I feel as though Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi will be joining us tonight as we watch it from Dave & Buster's. What's the mood in Washington?
Well, it's busy. There's going to be a lot of action just preparing for the State of the Union as far as security is concerned. A lot of those plans are secret, but we know they've been busy with that for some time. And that will be happening tonight, 9 Eastern. And we're expecting maybe a little drama here and there. The House Speaker is going to be sitting directly behind the president during this address. Obviously their history has been pretty rough. We expect the president to devote a lot of time to immigration and talking about immigration reform and calling for a border wall. I believe he's probably going to stop short of declaring a national emergency, something that's been floated about. Some of his colleagues in the Senate, some fellow Republicans, I should say, in the Senate, are calling on him not to do that during the State of the Union. But one of his guests are some angel parents, the folks who lost loved ones due allegedly to illegal immigrants being in the country. And all this happens as there's stuff going on at the border of Mexico with another caravan coming up here. So the president definitely going to talk a lot about immigration.
Yeah, we're wondering, and we've been airing the Fox stuff on whether or not you're going to have over 15. I'm sure Vegas has this, whether or not it's going to be over under 15 Democrats that don't show up tonight.
I'm hearing about 4, actually. There may be more that don't show up, but I haven't heard, in vast numbers. I think last year more boycotted than we're hearing about this year. But, yeah, some are going to sit it out. And what's interesting, to see is that the guests that will be coming, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the newest and youngest member of the House, I believe, remember the lady, a protester who trapped Senator Jeff Flake in an elevator during the Kavanaugh hearings?
Right.
She's bringing that protester. So there could be a splash in that regard. But, the Democrats I've heard of that aren't coming, Representative Steve Cohen, Representative John Lewis, Hank Johnson of Georgia, and Earl Blumenauer of Oregon are the only ones I've heard of that aren't going to show up.
Well, that's disappointing. Congressman Lewis, we enjoyed seeing him in the Super Bowl and won't be seeing him tonight.
No, not tonight, no. But be watching for Nancy Pelosi's body language there behind the president and who gets up and who sits down and who claps and who doesn't. It's always kind of an interesting scene that way. I wonder if Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg will be there. She's obviously been recovering at home from some nodules removed from her lungs. She's 85 years old. I think she made a public appearance yesterday, but we'll be watching to see if she's there tonight. Well, I wish you could join us at Dave & Buster's here in Boise. We're going to have our watch party, and then we'll be eating wings to all hours of the night. Sounds fun. Yes, the State of the Union and fun. Who would have thought? Yeah, and you're going to be back at it in the morning, so what a way to spend your birthday. But it'll be a good time. Rachel, thank you. Thanks. Security Guard Mike, thanks for your patience. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller.
Well, happy birthday to you, Kevin Miller. Happy birthday. Hope you're going to have a great birthday, because I know I'm going to have one when I watch the State of the Union with you at the Dave & Buster's, and it's going to be awesome. Well, thank you. It's like Nancy Pelosi gave you a little birthday gift there. State of the Union on your birthday. You couldn't ask for a bit. You could never expected that, did you? Well, in earlier days, we'd say the only thing that would top it was Nancy Pelosi dancing on the birthday cake, but we can't say those things anymore. Yeah, it's going to be better than the Super Bowl. I think that Super Bowl was great for you, but it was kind of boring for the rest of us. Now, hold on. Now, again, let me apologize in advance for saying this. Remember in the old days, they used to have
cosmetically appealing young ladies jumping out of a cake. I think Nancy Pelosi jumping out of a birthday cake at Dave & Buster's in front of all of us would be. I can't even say it with a straight face.
I don't know, man. That might be kind of creepy. If you think about it, looks like kind of like Skeletor coming out of the cake. I don't know.
No, I've always thought of her as the modern day version of Marilyn Monroe, actually.
I apologize for that. That was kind of cruel. Anyway, you take care, Kevin Miller. We'll see you tonight, and happy birthday, and it's great talking to you.
I look forward to hearing what you have to say tonight, Security Guard Mike.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time.
Thank you, brother.
Bye-bye. Happy
Bye-bye.
birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Liberty Linda joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. Excuse me. You know, I remember last year how disgraceful the Democrats behaved. President Trump was sharing all the good he had done for the American people. Kevin, how could someone not stand up and cheer? Instead, they just sat there with long faces like they were glued to their chairs. And, Kevin, it was just unbelievable.
Right.
Don't they want good for our people? And then I remember Security Guard Mike and I just kept looking at each other in unbelief of how the Democrats were acting. Every time that they would just sit in their seats and not move. And, of course, you know, tonight we have our wonderful Russ Fulcher will be there. So I'm excited to see him.
Well, we're excited to see you. Maybe you'll show up.
In every way, I tried to be able to go there. My family wouldn't let me go and drive all the way up there. You know, it's supposed to snow in Salt Lake City, and so anyway, they just wouldn't let me go. But I'm going to be in there in heart and soul.
Well, you're in my.
I'm going to be there.
You and Cindy are in my prayers every night, and Brian in Nampa. Now you're in Salt Lake. Is that where you are?
I'm in St. George.
Oh wow, my goodness.
So it's even farther away. There is an airport here, but a little bitty one. It doesn't really, you know, you have to go to Las Vegas. It's the closest place to fly out. Anyway, yeah, and it's going to be wonderful tonight. I know that. Just looking forward to hearing what our president, which has done so much good for our country, and, you know, let's wait and see. If they stand up once, if they're going to clap, because when they do, they're clapping for the American people. They're clapping for our country. How could they not stand up and clap? So I didn't get it last year, and let's just wait and see what they're going to do this year.
Liberty Linda, you take care of us in St. George, and thank you for still being with us.
Well, I'll be there in heart and soul. And you were right about my bumper sticker. I had to finally take it off my car. It became so bad being hit in the back of my car all the time. And I know that's why they were coming up and hitting me. And so anyway, let's see what happens tonight. It's going to be very interesting. And happy birthday. What are you turning, 20?
51, yes, 51.
Well, we think it's more like 20. So happy birthday. We love you, Kevin.
We love you, Liberty Linda. Know that we miss you, and you take care, all right?
You don't know how much I'm going to miss being there. But anyway, I'll be listening, watching.
All right. We'll catch you tomorrow morning then.
Okay, all right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Now that is dedication, calling in and participating from St. George, Utah. Joining us now is that lovable liberal Steve on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller.
Happy birthday, Mr. Miller. May
Thank you.
Have another 51.
They've been a doozy, I'll say that.
Well, you know, maybe I should give Jeff the suit a call and sit in for you tomorrow, because I don't know if he'll be worth much.
Oh, you could say that just about every day, but yes, I'm sure he would.
I think it's going to be a great, State of the Union. I think he'll bring all of America together, and you'll get a lot of applauses, and, the economy's good. This is good. That's good. Kim Jong-Dukabuka over there in North Korea is hiding out and keeping his missiles down, and Putin keeping his head low, and we're pulling out of Afghanistan soon and out of Iraq soon, and let Russia take over Syria, and things are going good. I think they make America good again, not great again, but good again. I think it'll be a good thing. And having this little 11-year-old boy there that's been bullied because of his last name, I think that'll wake America up to the bullying situation that we have going on. So I think it'll be better than a lot of people think. I don't think it'll be left against right against left, or however you want to put it. Yeah, right. I can't wait to see him put in his place by Nancy. Oh, it's going to be a great night. Oh, I'll be there at Davies, and I'll be there at Buster's, and I'll be wearing my disguise.
I see, but you're all straw, no hat.
Oh, yeah, you say that all the time.
And I'm so glad that Tommy Ahlquist actually gave me the right thing. You're all straw, no hat. You're not going to be there tonight. You don't have enough guts.
Oh, golly, you think you're going to reel me in with talk like that, but that's not what makes liberal Steve work, your right-wing conspiracy.
I'm just saying that when people would love to see you, and they're always very friendly to you. Heck, Terry bought you dinner once, and then you tease them. So I'm just outing you right now, saying you're not going to be there. You're a giant tease, and just be honest with people. I know that's tough for the libs, but just be honest with you.
Never Trump. Never Trump. I'll be there tonight in my disguise, and I'm just going to love it. All the Democrats are just going to sit on their hands, and Trump's going to go, oh, nobody. Then he's going to keep snorting. I don't know. He must have really screwed up his nasal cavity at one time in his life, because he's constantly snorting and sniffling.
Is this all you have? Is this all you have?
And
is this all you have? By the way, let me quote the great Tom Brady. We're still here. We're still here. We're still going to be here.
I'm still here, and I'm 16 years older than you, Miller Bitter. So I'm still here. And, yeah, State of the Union, bankruptcies at an all-sky high, housing crashing, credit card debt off the charts, college debt off the charts, a $1 trillion deficit off the charts, and he wants to spend money on a wall. Yeah, it's going to be a good State of the Union. Some little 11-year-old getting bullied. You know what? My mom would have put gloves in my hands, put me on that bus, and pointed out who I need to pummel. That's all, and it would have.
The problem with you is you need to be hit with so many. You need to be hit with so many lefts. You'd be begging for a right.
Yeah, go be showing your Sean Hannity stars. Yeah, I understand. Oh, it's
actually that was Chuck Norris, Invasion USA. Thank you, Liberal Steve.
I'll be in the corner wearing my Dylan shoes.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Your thoughts next. Kevin Miller here, the State of the Union. Join us tonight, Dave and Buster's. We hope to see you there. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Thank you very much, Ray Amayan. Thank you, everyone. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Blessed to be with you. And, we have so much to be thankful for, so much to continue to fight for, so much to be proud of in our great country. And it breaks my heart, like it breaks all of our hearts, when we see people besmirch and attack the United States of America. And we are going to be here, and we are going to continue to raise awareness and hold our politicians accountable. By the way, at the State House yesterday, we had about 300 demonstrators, protesters, telling the legislature to do their job and fund the massive Medicaid expansion. And look, even tops education. There is nothing more detrimental. There is nothing more destructive than talking about health insurance. And unfortunately, the Republicans in Congress, the Republicans along with the Democrats in the first 2 years of the administration did not get the repeal of Obamacare done. The Republicans said to us, we can repeal it, but we're going to make it worse. Is there anybody that is happy with their health insurance? Is there anybody that's happy with it? Now, again, this gets controversial because Obama let the greedy, grubby insurance companies have all the decision-making. And not that the system was great before that. We're at the mercy of bureaucrats, of bean counters. For me personally, I go through this. And there's only so much I can reveal, but, we're all at the mercy of the corporate bureaucrats that decide what medication you're going to be on, what type of doctor you're going to see, and I think eventually, if this isn't happening already, how long you're going to be able to live. We have these states across the country that are saying it's okay to kill babies now. How long before they say it's okay to kill old people? That's the type of country the libs want. And Donald Trump, as perfect or as imperfect as he may be, is the only one with the guts to stand up and fight for what's right. Traffic and weather together, 107.5 FM.
I'm just Channel 7's Eric Everett.
Max in Garden City with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. Son of the choir, which is happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
You're turning 51. My goodness, young fella, you look younger than you be. Of course, I'm going to be there tonight. Oh, I'm practicing my grammar. I very like. I'll be seeing you tonight. Of course, I'll be looking for the ever-absent Weasel Steve.
He's all talk. He's not going to show.
Oh, I'm sure he won't. But
right.
If Weasel Steve is listening, Weasel Steve, I'll buy you a Coca-Cola if you're there. Big bucks, I know, but I'm willing to spread that much for somebody as noble as Weasel Steve. I really am. And it's going to be a great State of the Union thing. I expect great things from the president. And we can all sit there and laugh together as the Democrats go stone-faced and sit there knitting, playing with their phones, or doing something so as not to look the president in the eye. This is how you tell. This is the measure of a man or a woman. Can you look somebody in the eye when you talk to them? They can't do that. I have yet to meet one of these people who can. These people are traitors. In fact, I wear a little sign on my shirt tonight that says liberals are traitors. Kevin, I'm looking forward to having a great time tonight. See you up in person. I'm even bringing a convert to your show with me.
Well, Max,
yes,
we can't
converted somebody.
We can't wait to see you, and we'll definitely introduce you to the public. Thank you, sir.
Looking forward to it, buddy. You take care, and soon you're quieter.
Thank you, Max. God bless. Fox News next. We're rolling. Thank you for joining us. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio.